Welcome, episode 5 of Scott and Sam in the AM. If you don't follow us already, we are at Scott and Sam Real Estate across all platforms. Episode 5, Scott and Sam in the AM. Scott, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Samuel. It's a beautiful day on Wednesday morning.
That's right. That's right. And your boy just became a father of 2. Right back to it.
How's that going?
You know, as you are leading up to it at the final months of the pregnancy, all you think about is, oh, I'm about to have another baby. And then you get home with the baby and you realize that the baby just sleeps all day and you forgot that you have a 2.5-year-old. And that is what I wasn't prepared for. That's a lot. Obviously, there's some jealousy flying around, but we'll figure it out. It is a lot different than having just one baby the first time. That's a lot. I remember having the first baby the first time, getting home and almost feeling like relieved because in the weeks leading up to it, you know this, it's so much anticipation, and then you get home and everything kind of settles down. This is like you don't really have the chance to settle down. That's the change.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well,
What's going on in your personal life that you want to share with the world?
my son is regressing in terms of sleeping. He's waking up in the middle of the night again, and he's hungry. So fed him last night, and then I got back into bed, and I couldn't fall back asleep. Just everything that's going on in work and life, just running through your head till, for another hour. And then skipped the gym this morning. Just wasn't feeling it. Got
Yeah.
after it yesterday. And, dude, peptides.
Are we in?
CJC.
Are we in?
No.
We're
Dude,
not in. We're out.
CJC 1295 or Ipamorelin, whatever they suggested, it's restricted in Louisiana.
I think it's actually a fact that if you're born in Louisiana, you actually just, your body naturally produces that. That's why they produce so many high-level athletes. That's probably why.
Yeah, you don't need it here.
So if
Well,
you
I
were to
wasn't born
move
here, so that's why.
If you were to move, you can take it?
Yeah, it's state by state.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, shout out Louisiana athletes. Never seen so many high-level athletes come from one area. It's I didn't really know this before. Obviously, you moving to New Orleans and stuff. But now when I watch football games, basketball games, even baseball games,
Baseball, yeah.
how many people are from professional athletes, Hall of Fame athletes are from just this small area between New Orleans and Baton Rouge is crazy.
Yeah.
Something in the water.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's nice all year round, so that they have that. They're playing 12 months a year, which, we never were in the Northeast. You're confined to some bubbles for 5-6 months out of the year.
Yep. Shout out Jack Gust.
Yep. Yeah. But there's also a lot of states like that. So I don't know.
Which I have a bug to pick about those indoor baseball facilities because your boy gave up a couple home runs in middle school that I don't think those would have gone out on real fields. Like when you have the tarps up, let's just say 12-year-old Sam was arguing a good amount. Now, were they smoked off the bat? Yeah, sure. But I think it would have, at the very worst, gone off the chain link fence on the 60-90
You were arguing about the wrong thing. You should have been focusing on just missing the bat. You were worried about how far that ball was hit. It's so stupid.
I had a, you ever play at the Rehoboth Beach tournament in Delaware? The Beach Blast, whatever it was called. My dad loves telling this story. I don't know if you remember this at the time, but Alex Rodriguez was playing for the Yankees. This is probably 2005. I don't know. Dating myself. Damn, it was 21 years ago. That's crazy. Well, he used to hit with sunglasses on. So I got a pair of sunglasses and I hit, and I just literally watched 3 fastballs go right down the middle because I couldn't see anything, but I thought it looked so sick. And later on in that game, we're playing 6 innings at the time, and I have a no-hitter through 5 innings. And my dad is in the stands, and he's talking about it. He's pulling me to the side of you have a no-hitter. I go up to bat in the top of the 6th
Clearly,
inning.
he never played baseball because you do
Never
not
in his life.
bring that up.
Yeah, never in his
anybody.
life. Never in his life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Through righty like a left-hander. Let's just say that. And that's why I thought I was going pro for sure, because I'm so much harder than this guy, and he's an adult. I got to be onto something. And then I went to try out with the rest of the guys. Didn't go great. But anyways, top of the 6th inning, I have a no-hitter going, and I get a fastball down the middle, smoke it in the gap. I'm not the fleetest of foot, for those of you who don't know. I take a large turnaround first and go for second. I couldn't slide. I had a sliding phobia my entire life. I honestly don't think I've ever successfully executed a feet first slide in my life. And I just would kind of if it was a bang bang play, I would either dive, but they banned diving because the kids were getting hurt, or I would just like kind of like skid and fall down to my butt.
Hmm.
Well, this one I got caught in the middle and the kid just threw it right threw it right in. I get tagged out and I was mad at myself, but I was also kind of mad at the umpire. Long story short, I cursed. I forget what I said. I think I dropped an F-bomb or something like that. I got thrown out of the game in the top of the sixth inning. And, so 5 inning no hitter.
That's how you keep a no hitter going.
That's right.
Get
That's
get thrown out of the game.
no chance of breaking it up if I get thrown out. So
How do you remember this shit? Honestly, dude, I feel like my childhood is completely gone. Olivia's always like, "Did you even have a childhood? You just grew up as an adult," because I don't remember much of anything.
damn.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. Kind of sad.
as someone who knew you at the end of your adolescence, I will say you are so different than when I met you at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
Just
I was
for how
angry, like
now, like you're
yeah,
very serious and you're very put together. Whereas at that age, you were, I wouldn't say like a wild child, but like you were not that, which
yeah,
any 19-year-old is not. But it's just funny to see where
yeah.
I guess most of the people I've known in my life at that age were clowns and idiots then, and most of them are still clowns and idiots. So at least you evolved.
Thanks, man.
There you go. So there's your funny Scott and Sam history for the day. Sam can't slide. Scott was a bit of a jerk off. Sam still is a jerk off. Let's get into real estate. So,
More importantly, we're getting a lot of messages and DMs. So we've
mm,
decided to create a community where we can interact with you all personally. We'll get on calls with everybody. We're going to start to offer, things that we've learned over the years, and we're going to provide that in our community. It'll be coming out the end of this week. Look out for it. I think it's going to provide a lot of value to people who are either just getting started in their careers, want to start a career in real estate, or you have a high paying job and you want to build wealth. You don't want to invest in a 401k or just stock away some money every single month. You want to really build something great. And that's what we're trying to offer to people. So, everyone's reached out. It's too much for us to be able to respond in the DMs. So these questions are nuanced. They take a lot of time and for us to really answer them. So we figured the best way to do that would be inside of a community where everyone can start to share their experiences and their questions for everybody else to see.
yeah. Scott and I have paid thousands of dollars for courses, coaching, you name it, and borderline demanded a refund because didn't get what we were sold. We weren't even being taught by who sold it to us. What I can tell you is the guys running the community are us, Scott and Sam. The guys you're going to be dealing with, Scott and Sam. Everything we have, it's going to be based around high quality, making it a 1000x ROI on any dollar that you spend to be a part of the community, any courses, whatever, anything like that. If you do it to the best of your ability, I can never guarantee it's going to work, but I can guarantee you we're going to give you our best, our time, as much quality as we can because we've been on the other side of it. There's nothing worse. So we'll
Yeah.
make sure that's not.
If we could do it for free, we would. We just can't.
Yeah.
We can't spend our time on something that is completely free. We just aren't in that place in our lives. And then two, if you invest in yourself, you'll more likely see it through. So, you got to invest in yourself. If not, if I just give you something for free, there's a good chance you're just going to shelf it. I promise you.
Yeah,
We all do that.
it's gonna be like an annual discounted option, or you could do it month to month. You hate it after a month or two, just let us know. You're right out. There's no long-term commitments, anything like that. It's gonna cost less than what I pay for my gym membership. Deduct it off your taxes. Have a great time. All right, I want to get into a couple very specific real estate questions around what we're doing right now. So we are doing everything from wholesaling a little bit. We're kind of at the tail end of our wholesale journey. It seems like we're flipping a lot. We are wholetailing a couple houses, which I love. It's a lot of fun. And then
Explain what that is for people.
we're working on a couple large commercial deals, like $3-4 million commercial and industrial type deals. And I want to get into for people who are already operating in that space. Like I know there's a guy, Mr. Singh, that we've traded DMs with and has commented on our stuff a few times. He's a developer and an operator up in New England. He does some high level stuff. I love his content. And those guys out in Kansas City, they're going to be coming on our podcast in a few weeks. If you guys haven't heard about these guys bought, I'm not going to spoil it, but they bought basically an old rundown building in downtown Kansas City, and they are documenting it with A+ marketing on how they're converting it into a huge apartment building with ground floor retail. Really cool. And I see guys like this. Those guys are younger than us. They're 25 years old. Mr. Singh is about our age. For the guys who are playing in the commercial space, they either want to get started or they want to do more deals, but they don't have enough cash because these deals cost a lot of money. How do you go about it? If you're not a Reg D fund, you're not a REIT, you're just a couple of guys and you want to put together some deals, how do you go about it?
I mean, you could more or less, like, our model right now is the syndication route. So we're not set up to be a fund. We're not just, collecting people's money and then making decisions with it. We're basically bringing deals to individual investors who want a piece of the deal. And in a lot of cases, they are taking the majority stake in the deal, depending on how much they are investing. And then, this could be just your local community. People that are in your community have more money than you think, and they're not sure what to do with it. And a lot of these people want to invest in real estate. And if you are just getting started, or you've been doing this for the last couple years and you want to grow, you probably have more time than money. And I know certainly that's the case for Sam and myself. So we are using our time to go out and find the deals, which we can get into more, like how we actually find the deals. We go direct to seller for the most part. We're not dealing with brokers. And we basically show them this is the path to a certain return for their money. They also get the benefits of owning the real estate in the form of tax savings through depreciation, which you don't get if you invest in the stock market. You also get leverage. You can explain this. Every dollar you put in, you get 4 back from the bank typically. So you also don't usually get that in the stock market. So there are benefits for these wealthier people to invest in real estate, and the returns don't have to be crazy. There just has to be a path for you to increase the value of the asset. And if there's a path to do that, a clear path, this is investing. You cannot guarantee anything. So that's how we operate, right? We bring a deal that we believe in an area that we see long-term growth in, or an asset class that we believe has ways to go. Right now, we're looking at an industrial park, and we're going to raise the money. We're going to add a few buildings. We're going to move some tenants from gross leases to triple net leases over time. And that's our value add. And it's not a crazy lift. We're not developing the entire thing of new construction. So the returns don't have to be insane. And that's it.
You can do so much in real estate if you are willing to take partners, aka share the wealth, put the time and the work in, and most importantly, you have a deal. You have a deal under contract that you hold the paper on. You have the leverage. You'd be surprised how far you can get, how big of a piece you can get, on the size of the deal that you can get for very little actual money out of your pocket. The most money you might spend on the whole deal might be how much it costs you to get the lead. Once you have the deal, as long as you know what you're doing and it pencils out, it underwrites well, people are going to want to invest in it because they're going to have a lot of the upside. They're going to have a very strong, there's never a guarantee of return, but if you model it out the right way and it makes a lot of sense, people are going to look at this and say, barring anything catastrophic, this is a great option for me because not only do I get what I would get in an index fund at Vanguard, but I also get all this upside. I think as two guys who have done a little bit of everything in real estate short of developing, we've done the flips, we've done the single family rentals, small multifamily, stuff like that. Once you get through that as a full-time real estate investor, if I was a high earning W-2 income guy, I'd want to be the LP investing with guys like Scott and Sam. But if you're a GP, you're a full-time investor, the way that we look at it is we would rather have a small percentage. We're not greedy. If we have a small percentage of a $4, $5, $6 million asset with the opportunity to increase the value over the next 10 years to 8, 9, 10 million, it is less management intensive and less moving parts than owning 150 single family houses. You're dealing with higher level people. You have to sometimes be a little bit more creative. It's not as straight shot. It's just continuing to buy a bunch of $80,000 houses. But if you do the math, two guys our age in our young 30s, we're going to get a lot further over the next 2 decades that way than the alternative.
You just got to decide what you want to do.
There is no right answer.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. We know
Yeah.
some people that are very, very well off who own 600 homes.
Yeah.
And they've done very well. They also have been able to invest in other businesses because of it. And their cash flow is so big that, they just keep rolling that money into more and more properties. They can take large mortgages that encompass basically a whole bunch of properties all in one shot and cash out at one time tens of millions of dollars. We know people that do that, and that's cool. That's just consistency over a long period of time, It's very impressive. And that's just not what we want to do, which is fine. We don't want to do that. We want to
Yeah.
do bigger assets and do less of them, period.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love like the challenge, the chase. I love the underwrite like I like the underwriting. I like the math behind it. It's very intriguing. I wish there was more. I actually thought about making a video about this, but Scott and I went to the same college. We took a lot of the same classes and we went to a small liberal arts school, and you take business classes, you take economics classes. I can't think of many principles that I learned that I apply in everyday business. So much, to be honest, I'd say number one teacher of what we apply in business on real estate deals, on business, whatever, is learn from experience. Number two has been through social media. Social media now you can go on to YouTube and learn how to be almost an accountant. But I wish that the education system would catch up with that. I have some ideas with that with our media and our education, and how can we bridge that gap. I think that's really cool, especially now that I'm a dad. What I think is important to learn, I don't think a kid needs to take 6 classes of chemistry or 9 years of French like I did, and I still don't know French that well.
So did I. I can't speak a damn lick of
Yeah,
it either. It's a tough language, actually.
yeah, we. There is
We,
no right or wrong
we
answer.
what, dude?
I wish we
I'm
yes.
kidding. I'm kidding.
There is no right or wrong answer. If you want to own 600 houses, you're pretty much guaranteed to create wealth at some point. It's probably
Yeah.
the slowest direct train track between zero and wealth, buying a bunch of single family rentals. Our goal with managing a large fund, $1 billion fund, is to continue to do deals to build up our resume, our life resume, our career resume, and our knowledge base, to continue to further ourselves as experts in the industry, so that in 36 months, if we go to a private equity firm or a very wealthy individual or a family office and we ask them for $30 million, hey, we know what we're doing. Like you're 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 entrusting the money into Scott and Sam, and I know that that's not a light question. That's a ton of money. So that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about when we're taking down deals like this. It's not just about making the money. Actually, making the money is a very small part of it. Getting the experience and learning how to do these deals, how to structure these deals, how to lift these deals, and actually execute on the value add plan. That's the holy grail, I think, for us right now at 33 years old. 32,
I'm still
32. I don't mean to
32.
age you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I want to, it kind of segues into my next point. The next thing I wanted you to break down, if you didn't mind, is a lot of people, are fortunate enough to have high earning W-2 jobs, or maybe they're a business owner that's not involved in real estate, AKA they're sane, unlike us. And they have a lot of money stocked away, a couple $100,000, $1 million in a money market fund, a brokerage account, whatever. You did some really interesting things with your brokerage account that you were able to leverage it that I didn't even know you could do into buying some more cash flowing real estate. Could you share just high level, without getting too into your personal financials, how you did that so that someone could do it?
Yeah. So basically, your assets have a cash equivalent value. Every brokerage is different how they look at that. Sometimes it's like the amount of cash that you're holding with them and it's earning interest, or it could be invested, and you basically can borrow against that. Like, it's just like borrowing against like your real estate, but it's
I
just
had
money
no
that's
idea you could do that.
yeah, and the cool part about it is the rates are far less than what you could get from a bank. So like right now, I have a rate of like 4.125
Sheesh.
borrowed against my um
Let me hold on some money.
and the cool part is that money is earning more than the interest that I'm paying, right? So
Wow.
they
Yeah.
can, like, you can either roll that
Yeah, because
back
they don't
into it
take it
and
out of your account. They don't liquidate it.
no, of course. So like it's still there, it's still earning, and the major benefit to this is obviously one, it could be paying the interest that you are paying. I personally pay for it out of pocket, so it keeps rolling it back in every year. But it's the biggest point is you don't pay the capital gains on the money that is in your account. If you sell it and you go out and go use it somewhere, whatever gain is, you're paying on that, right? So I'm not paying those gains, and then I can go out and use it to buy more real estate and to flip real estate or keep it in my portfolio. And then I could go, so basically go pay cash for the property, take debt on the property, pay back my line, and then I can go and do that again. So you don't need a piece of real estate to do this, and you don't need to sell anything to do this, which is the most important part. If you could sell nothing in your life, and I'm talking assets, you're going to be a hell of a lot better off than if you sold anything in the long run. It's fun to sell stuff and make money. Sometimes you need to do it. No shame in doing it. But if you can find a way to keep as much assets in your portfolio as possible, especially at a young age, I promise you, you will thank yourself later. It's only going to be worth more in the future, period.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty wild that you can borrow a line of credit against your money market or portfolio at a rate less than what it's currently earning. You're still making money, but now you get to put all that money to work and make it
Yeah.
make even more money off of it if you know what you're doing. I wouldn't borrow against your portfolio to go buy a sports car, but now that I'm saying it out
People
loud,
do that.
if you
People do that.
well, hear me out.
Yeah.
People, Sam is people, because if his best friend has a rate of 4.25, that's like half of what Lexus is financing GX is at. So what we
Right.
do here is you just wire me $89,000, and then I just make the payments to you every month at
Smart.
cost. At cost,
At
right?
cost. Okay. Right.
I'm just helping build your credit, and
Thank you.
that's pretty much it. So
I'll lend you the
I'll take
money.
the midnight blue saddle interior.
That's nice.
I want the lighting package underneath the doors. I'll tell you. I'm
I'll take the
closer than
neon
ever.
package.
I'm closer than ever to
What?
splurging on a car. And I don't buy a car. Don't finance a car. Don't finance a car. That is becoming
Why?
so clear to me.
Why? Do the math. Do the opportunity cost of that math and how much you're actually paying.
I'm going to finish my point. I'm going to finish my point before we get into.
Do the math.
You had
Stop being
your
emotional.
financial highlight.
Stop being emotional.
Well, I'm being emotional right now because it's hard. It's hard to work as much as we work and then get into your Subaru at the end of the day, and you're just like, God. Like, it honestly, sometimes I'm like, I need a reminder that I'm actually moving forward and being successful. And
Right.
maybe an Escalade would do that.
Yeah, dude. They're
You know?
sick.
I'm gonna die.
I've been trying to
Right?
tell you this,
Right?
dude.
Right?
I've been trying to tell you
that you are
this.
dying.
Yeah, dude.
Let me also
Please.
just
Stop driving a Subaru. It's looking bad for our brand.
preface this with saying that I was ready to buy a GX last year with the co-host of this podcast, and he wouldn't do it. So
He wanted to buy one, and he wanted it to ship it back and forth, and I was like, "That's stupid."
no, it's not. At 4.25, we'd be dumb not to do this. Ship it back and forth.
No, this is true. He was like, if he's like, you go buy one, I will be right behind you. But
yeah, I just can't pull the trigger. But if someone pulled it for me,
yeah,
I'd be.
I bought a Porsche. That was my thing. I was like, I don't want the car.
A Porsche. I'm too tall.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But I was like, I'm happy to drive my Tesla every day, and then
I would love to drive my Tesla.
Yeah, well, that's even worse.
I would love to. My wife would just not be happy to drive the Subaru.
Yeah, get like a year-old Escalade.
Well,
and then that's your weekend car that you can drive up and back and forth to the shore, and then you can give it to her, drive around.
Wait,
she can go to the gym.
I have a shore house in this fantasy. What else do I have? You're saying I don't have to spend the summers with my in-laws anymore?
I didn't say it was your house. I just said you drive back. You could drive to the shore and then you can drive back.
Is it honestly, like, I've been talking about getting a GX for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I had no idea it took premium gas. Listen,
yeah,
I'm the first guy to make the video of like gas prices don't matter. Like, you got to just make more money, but like, that's kind of a big difference.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of a big difference.
Well, what's the other option? Escalades take premium gas too, pal.
The other option is the Subaru. It takes regular, and I swear to God, it doesn't burn gas. Like, I filled it up like 3 weeks ago. I drive around all of North America, and it's like, you're full.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But now with 2 kids, the car seats, it's tough. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I did not think like this.
Yeah.
Think about this.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I think you should just go Tahoe. That takes economy gas.
Yeah, but like,
it's the same size.
It's a Chevrolet. Like, you get inside it and you're like, oh, it's a Chevrolet.
I know.
You know, like, it looks way cooler from the outside than what it actually is. When you get inside it, it's the most.
Have you sat in the Denali though? The GMCs, those are pretty nice. They're pretty nice on the inside. They're like a step up from the Tahoes.
The Chevy guy tried selling me on the
Traverse. Don't even say it.
No. What's the one in between Traverse and Tahoe? Acadia, maybe? Something like that? Maybe that's the GMC version, but like, it was the in between, and I was like, my God.
No, bro.
I will turn the Subaru into a convertible before you find me in a Traverse. I will cut the top off.
As bad as the Subaru. Yeah.
Who's the guy around New Orleans who cut the top off the Tesla?
I haven't seen
You're
him in a hot minute, but yeah, he cut the
yeah.
te and he's like, "This is the only one here." I'm like, "I
Yeah.
believe it."
Chapatul yeah, Tchoupitoulas Tesla.
Yeah, literally.
Tchoupitoulas Tony. You see a cut off Tesla riding around the
It's
West Bank.
green too. It's green. I think it's
My
wrapped
guy.
in green, yeah.
My man, my man. It's never a comforting feeling to get your payoff statement on your current Tesla and it's $12,000 more than what they're asking as a quote bad deal on cars.com. It's not good. Not
That's not
good.
good.
But it's been like 4 years. So like I think I only have, 25 months left on the loan. But I did the math. I was like, all right, if I just go scratch a check and pay it off, it saves me. It was like literally less than $1,000 because the rate
And
was really low.
that's kind of why I'm saying, like, you finance a car, the opportunity cost for scratching a check for 75K is like,
Mhm,
in the line of work that we do, what can you
mhm.
do with 75K? And
A
you
lot.
could spread
Yeah.
that over like 5 flips,
Yeah.
like, and make way more
Yeah.
than the interest charges. So for someone who's a W2 worker, yeah, I mean, that's fine. If you don't, obviously it makes the most sense to not have a car note, period. I get it.
Mm.
But if you want to drive a nice car, which I know we do, we're in our cars all the time, we work hard. I'm not hoofing it around anymore, like, period. I don't know if I ever was, but period. So I'm gonna get myself a nice car. And
Yeah.
I'm not paying cash for it, sue me. My cash flow will pay for that. Sorry. I'm running out of cash flow. I need some more cash flow.
I think the thing is that we talk about cash flow. We have more cash out right now in deals than we've ever had before. You can get great financing terms. You could submit great budgets. At the end of the day, materials cost a ton of money, labor's expensive, and these projects take a lot of time. Like if you buy a flip, do not expect to get the money back for 6 or 7 months. It could be longer.
Yeah.
And we are at the bottom of the bell curve right now in terms of incoming cash and outgoing cash. I see the light at the end of the day here. By July 1st, August 1st, I probably won't be complaining. But I know what's going to happen July
Happy
1st,
birthday,
August 1st.
Scott.
We already just committed to buy another house in June. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's going to be a bunch more. We're just going to do it again. And in October, I'm going to be complaining even more. It's part of the plan, it's part of the game. I think for me, it's not a nice feeling, obviously, but we're shoveling out a lot of cash to buy all these properties with volume. If I start adding $1,000 or $1,200 a monthly payment when we have those bottom of the bells like we're at right now, it's just one less thing that's taking money out of my account every month and allows me to, make sure I'm putting up my half. But now that I know that you have all this money at 4.25, maybe I will go do it and just be like, you got it. You got it. I'll pay you 4.25.
When have I ever said no to putting up some more money? I never did
Never,
that.
never,
Ever.
never,
And I
never.
don't plan on doing that until I'm
No.
tapped the fuck out.
And this is my way of letting you know
Yeah.
I am
Don't
tapped
buy the
the fuck
car.
out.
That's right. That's right.
I think
So,
we've been making a lot of content lately about not just full-time real estate investors like ourselves, but also people who are working W-2 jobs. As a former W-2 employee, a pretty high earning W-2 employee for someone in their mid to late 20s, take it from me. You do not need to, nor would I rush to, quit your job to go be a full time real estate investor. If you have a great career and you're making good money and you see a linear ascent over the next 10 to 15 years to make even more great money, you can build up a sick real estate portfolio. You should DM Scott and Sam Real Estate to learn how to do it. We'll help you out. But you can build up a sick real estate portfolio and it will probably run parallel to that fat 401k you have in the next 10 years. We have a buddy who's a friend of both of ours who's bought a good amount of investment real estate from us over the last couple of years. This guy makes really good W-2 income. I'm talking $300,000-$400,000 a year. He has bought.
shout out. No, I'm just kidding.
He has, yeah. Shout out his social security number. He's bought enough investment real estate from us that even if he doesn't buy another property, as long as he just holds on to them, to pay down the debt, he'll probably double his 401k in his real estate portfolio by the time he goes to retire. And he's probably shoveled out. I talked about it. I think he's into it for like 200,000 of cash over the last couple of years. But he's got a couple flips going too, so that that exposure will be less when it's all said and done, assuming he doesn't buy anymore. When you look at I love this argument. Like you watch these videos of like, if you just dump all your money in the stock market, every 7 years it doubles and so forth. What it doesn't take into account is that you can't do so much in a stock portfolio. You can borrow against. There is a lot of tools. I'm glad you shared that because it's more than just an E-Trade account. But the real estate gives you a whole nother level of component of just flexibility. Once it gets paid off, borrow against it again, send your kids to college, let it pay down the next 20 years. Now it's your retirement. You can sell to borrow against it, plus all the cash flow, plus the tax advantages, all this stuff. And I just think it's a great, I'm not saying that you should have one or the other, 401k or real estate portfolio, but if you have the opportunity to powerhouse both of them parallel against one another, well, you're in a great spot. Like, great spot.
What if you only can do one though? What do you suggest?
Whatever you know, whatever you know. Guys like me and you, real estate. Someone who's working at JP Morgan, okay, stock money market account. If I go, if you handed me an E-Trade account, don't ask me
This
for a
guy's buying
balance update.
GameStop. Yeah.
Yeah, it might, yeah, it might not go great. But
Yeah.
you give me, a $500,000 line of credit, a telephone pole, and a Home Depot credit card.
It's going on the Broncos.
I can, I can, I can turn it into $1 million if the Broncos
Quick.
win the AFC.
Yeah. So
You made a video about this the other day. You were saying how you're watching, you're not a sports fan,
yeah,
like the prototypical sports, baseball, basketball, but you love watching the UFC.
love it. You
And
talking
you
about
were just
gambling?
saying how the sports betting, I guess I was asleep, but you said it's just getting rampant.
Man, it's just like it's one ad after the other, and I don't like gambling. I've gone into casinos. I don't like it. Like I'm not even I don't know. Like it just never really got me going. And
Mhm.
even me watching all this is like, holy shit,
You've been watching too many of these Steve Will Do It videos.
dude.
Guys are psycho.
Because I've never seen anyone risk and win and lose an amount of money that actually would like move the needle. I'm always watching my friends are like, hey dude, I'm up $800 at the casino. I'm like,
But is the Steve Will Do It stuff
who
real?
cares?
You think it's real, or is
Yeah,
it
I think
all
it's
an act
real. No, I
for
think
the
it's
show?
real. I think it's real. If you hear like other people talk about it that know him, they're like, dude, he's insane. Like,
Well, I saw the guy Caleb Hammer, the guy, you've seen that kid who does the financial audits.
yes.
He's trying to get Steve Will Do It on. That would be incredible.
He got his friend Togi on there. I didn't watch it,
Oh,
but dude, he's like another gambler. He was like a fitness influencer or whatever. But like, I don't know if it's real, dude. I just watched the video of Toki's, and he's basically calling up guys to either sell his watches off to go put a bet. I literally watched him place the bet on against Sean O'Malley, and he took Justin Gaethje for $150,000. And he's like, this is gonna hit. He lost. He fucking Sean O'Malley beat Song Yadong, and he took Song, and it was a parlay for Justin to beat Paddy Pimblett. And I knew the outcome, and I'm sitting there, and he's watching, and he's like, "Oh, let's go!" And it was $150K to pay out $750 to wipe out all of his losses for the week. And he's like, and I'm sitting there watching, and I know the outcome, and then it shows him fucking depressed in his room talking about Jesus for the next 20 minutes of the video. So I'm like, this seems real, dude. Like, this does not seem fake to me. I don't know. And he coin flipped his house with Steve Will Do, and he lost $2 million house in Miami.
Oh my God.
And they signed the papers on both of their channels and everything. Like, he's like, people think this is fake. This is real. He's like, my parents are really upset. And I'm like, $2 million house. He's like, that's the first time I actually felt something in terms of a dopamine hit in the last 2 months. He's like, when that coin was flipping up, I'm like, oh my God, bro.
God.
Yeah. So, dude, you think you got problems? You're like, oh my God, this is all real.
I think I didn't really realize this until I became a tax-paying adult. It's amazing the AdSense of these massive multinational brands. You watch a football game, every commercial is beer, sports betting, and some other, bottom of the barrel type stuff. You watch MSNBC, there's not a single DraftKings commercial. There's not a single Coors Light commercial. I never realized it. I never, and I'm a guy, like, I love watching, like NBA highlights, Sports Center, stuff like that. I hate where it's at now. Like, when my son's not old enough nearly to understand it. And I have a feeling by the time he is old enough to understand it, there's going to be a lot more regulation around it. I would hope, just because I think so many people are losing I hate how, like, you can't see, like, the bottom line ticker anymore without seeing the sports betting odds. Whereas, like, when we were growing up, it was just the Yankees are playing the Mets and these two guys are pitching. It's at 7:00 on ESPN.
Right.
That's all you need. Like, I'm not saying, like, I get it. If you can control whatever habits you have, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, betting on a game, or going to the casino, like, by all means, like, it's a free country. But a lot of people can't. And you got to have, I don't know. There's got to be some layer. I just hate that I see it with like, I have cousins who have kids who are now like 18. So when they were young, when they were 11, 12, that's when fantasy, became very readily available, which turned into, I don't know if you remember this, but like DraftKings and FanDuel started out as fantasy football companies.
Right.
And
Because
then they just,
yeah, because they couldn't, right? Like they couldn't.
it wasn't a thing. It wasn't, I'm sure that, listen, these guys are a lot smarter and have a lot more money than us, but I'm sure they saw it coming. They positioned themselves to get whatever licensing they could with gaming commissions so
Yeah.
that they have the right to do it. No one can, I can't just, we can't start the Scott and Sam app and start taking sports bets. You have to be licensed and have,
Right.
I'm sure a ton of reserves to actually pay out, people's wins. And they're all linked to casinos, I think. I don't know, man. It's pretty nuts. But you see
Yes, it
how
is.
these brands position themselves with marketing. They know better than any of us. There's a lot of data behind it. It's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
nuts. That's
Oh,
why I think it's like, I think about how cool it is of all these people building channels and brands on social media now. Because on Scott, we can get on Scott and Sam Real Estate and talk about real estate, or we can get into health and fitness and peptides or whatever you want to talk about. It's not confined to any one box.
right.
That's like where my brain starts turning with everything we're doing and where can it go over the next 5, 10 years. That's what I think is really cool. I don't know if anybody's going to watch. I don't have cable television. I don't know about you. Do you have cable TV?
No,
I
haven't
don't have
had it
cable TV.
for years, honestly.
Yeah, me either. I haven't had cable TV for years and I don't miss it. There's never a time where I'm like, oh, I wish I had it. Like maybe the Super Bowl, like,
You can
but
still
other than
get it
that, like pretty
though.
much everything's on the apps.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't know. I think everyone's going to be watching. I think by the time our sons are watching television, like they're just going to be watching YouTube. I really do. Or Netflix. Yeah. Do you let your
Uh,
son watch television yet? I haven't asked you that.
no, no,
No?
he's too small. He's only 6.5 months. He doesn't really understand any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly couldn't tell you when we started letting our son watch television. He's good about it though. He's not like, I don't know. I only have 2 years and 3 days of experience across two kids. But in my experience, like as long as you don't fight things when they don't need to be fought, and then just understand when, like every kid throws temper tantrums, every kid throws hissy fits, whatever you want to call it. 99% of the time it's because they're tired or they're hungry. As long as you solve one of those two problems, it tends to go away. But like we've been pretty fortunate where like our son doesn't gravitate. Oh, he likes watching television for sure, especially now. Like we're going to Monster Jam on Saturday. This dude will sit down and just watch 30 minutes straight of Monster Jam highlights on YouTube as he holds 3 Monster Jam trucks with his Monster Jam book. He loves it. That's what we got to invest in, Monster Jam. They're taking shareholders.
How do you invest
And
in that?
I don't know. I'll find out on Saturday.
We'll buy a truck, sponsor a truck.
Yeah, yeah.
Scott and Sam
Rapid
truck.
and Scott and Sam Real Estate.
That'd be fire.
But yeah, but we are, it will always be, he will never get a screen anywhere outside of the house. Like going out to eat, none of that. Like
Sure.
that's we go out to eat a lot of other times with other couples, kids their age, and like as soon as they sit down, they just throw their phone on like some sort of lock setting or whatever, put it in front, and then they look and be like, yeah, let me get a Coors Light. Like
Yeah,
that
because
drives me insane.
then they can enjoy their dinner and not have to worry about their kid.
Yeah. Just understand you don't enjoy dinners anymore.
I'm with you, buddy.
So we've made it 5 episodes. What's your thoughts 5 episodes in, Scott?
I feel like it's getting better, at least on the technical side. That is kind of, honestly, if you're starting a podcast, the biggest pain is all the technical stuff that they don't really tell you about. And they make it seem very easy. Shout out Catherine for fixing that stuff for us. And our goal is to do 30 episodes before we do anything different. So just for our own
Well, we have a
personal
couple
sake.
guests. We have a couple guests coming up.
That's true. That's true. We are taking away from our work day to have these conversations, which I enjoy. And we were talking about earlier about if you have a good W-2 job and, don't be so quick to give it up just to go on your own and do real estate. I agree with that for the security purposes, but I also want to say if either of us did that, we would not be able to sit here in the middle of the day and record an hour-long podcast and just to talk shit. So there is a trade-off. Even if you make a little less money, you kind of get to do what you want to do. So if you are interested in that in the community, it's coming out this week. Scott and Sam Real Estate, Scott and Sam, the real you, because it's some real education in the real life, not just the education you get from your schooling, but from guys who are actually doing it every day and who want to keep getting better and help you all get better as well.
Yeah, and show you the stuff that actually really matters if you want to grow, run, or start a business. Shout out to the accounting teacher. I'm not going to say his name because I'm not sure if he's still alive. I don't want to be respectful. At Washington College, but everybody knew that this guy stunk, and everyone failed this class or got like a D or a C, including your boy. Well, now
I took summer
we
accounting
know.
at another school because thinking one step ahead, playing chess, boy. I didn't want to fail that class.
Well, now
We both suck at accounting.
we both suck at accounting, but we know how to hire good accountants. All right, so I bet they got an A in that class. Actually, no, I bet no one got an A in that class because that guy was tough.
What was his name?
I'm not going to say it on camera, but I know it. You know me.
You
Sharp
know
as a
it?
trap.
I don't even
Of
know it.
course.
Yeah, I don't even know it. All right, well,
Episode
week,
5.
episode
Thank you
5.
for listening. If you listen all the way through, I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad.
And I love you, Mike Festa. He's on episode 5, he said. Thank you, buddy.
This is episode 5.
Well, I think he just started. He's caught up, is my point. And shout out Rob Sells Miami.
Shout out Rob Sells Miami. If you're not following Rob Sells Miami and you're an actual live follower, follow
he has
Rob
more
Sells
followers than we do.
and likes everything.
Subscribers. Damn.
To be Rob Sells Miami. And you know that dude hasn't listened to a single episode because I've like texted him a few times, like, yo, we shouted you out. And he's like, haha, that's great.
He ain't got time for this.
No. All right.
Miami,
episode 5 in the books. Episode 6 next week. Scott and Sam Real Estate.
What are we talking about?
I have no idea. I didn't even know what we were talking about today until I put the headphones on.
All right, cool. More car talk. Goodbye.